Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Computer Wednesday, we're going to talk about some dark topic as in AI at this point in time has blood on its hand, actual blood. So let's dive deep into it. So you have to understand we are talking about this individual. So full scale basically Ukraine invasion started in 24 February 2022. And as of me recording this video, it is still going on. And everybody you can check basically news report of that time as in like 2022. World thought this will be like a minor inconvenience, like happened, moving on. And again, even he thought that it would be like a minor inconvenience, like we are doing denazification, whatever that means, and they did not even give it the respect of calling it a war. They just called it special military operation. And yeah, world was almost sorted. It's like either it's going to take few days or it's going to take few weeks, the end. Like there was no chance a nation that is practically speaking ranked 22 versus a nation that is ranked second. It's not a fight. And it's not even like, okay, one side has population. No, there is no advantage that Ukraine has that even allows them to stand, let alone actually fight a full-fledged invasion. So whole world thought this word was like, a news. Basically, same way you do not remember when Crimea event happened, 2014 basically, and nobody, like, this became a news, which mind you, Ukraine supposed to be protected by 3 nations that signed a nuclear treaty. 2 of them are nation parties, as in UK and USA, that we will protect you if Russia ever goes boom boom with you. That did not happen, and we did not care about it. So people was thinking the same thing. Okay, Ukraine will fall, tada, who cares, move on. But that did not happen. As of now, when I'm making this is 2026, 07 July, basically 21st of July. We have crossed 1600 days at this point in time. To give you a context, that is more length than World War I and 73% of World War II. And the way it is going, I can see this puppy crossing World War II. Oh, be mindful, this photo will be remembered in future generation of Russia if they survive. Because be mindful, if you look into older Russian war, they have lost a lot and they have lost blood a lot. But there was one core thing, they always had high birth rate. Since the fall of Soviet Union, the birth rate is below 2.1, and this is from 1990s. That cannot be undone. Every war they are fighting afterwards, be it Chechenian war or even in Crimea they spilled some blood, or this Ukraine blood, there is no more replacement anymore. The birth rate has been below 2.1 for a very long time, and by some metric it is below 1. It's almost touching South Korea level. And again, if you have this much slaughtering going on, there is no Russia anymore. Like that's the one core component that is completely different between last 10,000 year history of Russia versus today. Like there is no control Z of that. So every man that is dying right now, it's no longer, oh, I lost my brother. No, I'm the only child that is dying. The end. My family lineage ends with me. So this photo would be remembered almost exactly how Stalin has been. Stalin, when he was alive, propaganda with extra propaganda with some more propaganda. The moment he died, please denazify, please remove his photo from everything, remove his, that happened. So same thing will happen with this footage. This was on National Burqa. We are denazed, special military operation. Life has irony to it. Now, how the heck this happened? How the heck a tiny nation can actually stand, let alone cause harm? Well, this was an asymmetric warfare from day one. Duh. Ukraine had nothing. That's the irony. Basically, if India goes against with some other nation, you could say India has a massive population. Ukraine had nothing. Like they did not have infantry, enough infantry, air force, lol, navy, lol. So how the heck that happened? But here's the deal. The critical asset, the reason why this was not a special military operation, was they had one good thing going for them: less corruption. Like, does that matter? Yes, especially if your opponent is corrupt. Because the very action, that 2014 action that took Crimea away, bitch slapped Ukraine hard. It's almost like, from Indian point of view, it's like China decides one day, it's like, we're going to take Jammu Kashmir and we can't do anything about it. That action will unite India. Same thing happened with basically Ukraine. Once they actually lost Crimea, they're like, no, this cannot go on. Now, like, okay, why does Ukrainian care enough about it? Here's the deal. They were alive, like as in right now, there are still very old people who are alive from Soviet Union era. they know the blood cost. They know the price they paid for USSR glory. If you want to horrify yourself, look into Ukrainian famine. Basically, if you are Indian, think of Bengal famine, just on a much smaller nation. Brutal is the word. So they know what happens with this sort of brain damage retard where it's like, Soviet Union was great. No, it was great at marketing. Like, again, you leech blood from everywhere, show some Moscow. It's like, dude, you don't have food there. You don't have food. You just leached all the food and put it here. So Ukrainians know that's why they are fighting so hard. And again, that's why that Crimea was a bit bitch slap moment for them to like, no, we got to fix this. We cannot run this Soviet BS anymore. So they learned and fixed themselves. Ironically, that same action corrupted Russia. Why? Because that should not have been possible. The two signatory, nuclear armed signatories supposed to bitch slap you. They did not. So they're like, oh, we can do whatever you want. So what happened? Well, a Russian company just started selling military asset. They knew they never need to use it. If you ever wonder what happened to that, all that armor column, all that defense they drove in, yeah, their tire busted. Why? They sold the quality tires, bought cheap Chinese tire, did not even spin them up. So they were static in one position for years. So when you actually drive them, the tire failed. Ta-da! Like, how the heck Moscow was sunk? Simply corruption. A simple basic beach missile like a Neptune should not be able to tank a old school robust Soviet Union stuff. That should not be possible. And it was not possible. They hate it, true. But that should be minor inconvenience for a ship like that. It should be like, paint damage. Okay, put out the fire. Yeah, what happened to fire equipment? Yeah, they were sold. Corruption. So any Tom, Dick, and Harry, how the heck this happened? Corruption. There is nothing more than that. If there was no corruption in Russia, it would have been like, at best, Ukraine would have lasted few weeks. But one started to fix their corruption, one gained the corruption, and tables turned. Now, Ukraine started to do study. As a good student, he studied a war that was going on here, basically between Azerbaijan and Armenia. They have the same philosophy. One has big tanks and stuff. Another is a small puppy which has nothing. So they paid a lot of money into drones and stuff. Now, this is the first time when you hear Shahi drone, you think Russia-Ukraine war. This was the first time Shahi drone was used. And another aspect is this is the first time a cheap drone, and be mindful, America does have drones, but those drones are stupid, as in the price starts in multi-million dollar. The only thing it's cheap about them is that they do not need a soldier, as in like airman. But other than that, they cost almost the same. Like there are nations that are fielding a fighter jet that is same price as other systems, as in like drone system, Predator drone, Global Master and all that. So that is not viable for any of these nations. But cheap ones, that is like cheap enough, it just works, just drops stuff, it started to boom tanks, world changed. Ukraine studied it, and as of now, when I'm making this video, Ukraine is world leader in drone warfare. Like nobody, not even USA, can tank multiple drone barrage without like cracking, so to say. It's almost like Israel is the one of the nation who actually knows how to handle barrage of rockets. Why? They keep getting bombarded by, and real world, not simulation, not war games, real world with intent to boom. And Ukraine is the same thing. A nation going intended to boom you, and they survived it. You must have paid attention to the news. Back in the early days, we were like, attacks happened, this many buildings catch fire. The death toll that we were hearing in the early phase, like 100 died, 50 dies, that's the casualty count now. And you don't even hear about drones anymore. You only hear about basically interceptor missiles, basically really fast ballistic missiles penetrating. They handle Shahid. Like, does that mean every single Shahid is handled? No, of course not. You cannot do that. But more than enough where it's like, Ukraine is like, I got this. And you feel like, okay, why the heck Ukrainian can hit Russian manufacturing hubs, but Russians can't do that. They can't find it. Why can't they find it? This is the point of low corruption. CIA, NSA, all of them are helping Ukrainians to look for where to attack, how to look for it, understand that skill set. Here's the that skill set teaches them, if you have a satellite on top and you're looking at it, what to look for. What does Ukraine do? Make sure that drones cannot be spotted that way. Make sure drone is not built in. Again, their target is 4 to 8 million drones per year. That's what they are targeting for 2026. So they are making sure, again, they can easily achieve it if they make one large plant. But one large plant equals kaboom. So they're like, okay, let's distribute it. Even if something does get hit, it will not cause that much hassle. And it's very hard to detect where the heck it is because they're hiding it. Why they're hiding it? Because they are seeing how CIA sees it. Low corruption. Again, not zero, let that be very clear. I'm not saying zero, lower. as in like people are actually invested, not just like take money and eat. It's like, no, let me spend money. This is my soil, basically. If you have a lot of people like that in the top echelons of government, you can do stuff. Again, 1600 days of doing stuff. Now, war has a older school theory of like there is never a sword, there is never a shield. There's always a race. So same thing. Both sides had a drone problem because once Ukraine started to use drone, Russia is like, bro, you forgot. I have my boy. I got my China. Control C, Control V, man. Like just drop drones. So both sides had drone problem. And they both work to make countermeasures. Unfortunately, there is a vulnerability, especially in cheap drones. I'm not talking like predator class drones. Cheap drones have this problem. It's called electromagnetic jamming, meaning if you start screaming in all bandwidth, basically 2 gigahertz or even as low as 1.5 gigahertz to as high as 8 gigahertz, you scream like almost like a Wi-Fi router that is screaming in all of them. You can disrupt the connection of an operator and drone. And these cheap drones after that is like nothing, no use. So EM jammers became first tool. Second tool was the fact that you are like, actually driving basically the drone all thing. You are screaming. Basically, your antenna is screaming to the basically drone back and forth. So that's a very bright link. It's almost a radio flare as they call it. So counter battery can attack you at that point in time. So these became a two-prong defense shield. First, yeah, I might be boomed, but I'll make sure your position is spotted. So artillery will boom you, Air Force will boom you, somebody with some missile will boom you. That's the whole point. It's called going after the archer. Even basically, it's a sacrificial system which will break your basically not the arrow, but the archer. So both parties developed a lot of system. And drones cannot do much if it does not have links. And without the links, drone just fails. How does it fail? That's also a very horrific scenario because drones do not fail safe. As in most missiles, air-to-air missile or even Patriot interceptors, almost anything built by any smart nation never builds something as like launch and it does not detonate. That should not happen. Like that should not ever happen, that you fire something, it attacks something, but it did not go off. It should always go off because again, that's a worst case scenario, even for yourself. For example, imagine, Ukraine sent hundreds of drones, 10 drones got jammed and they fell, but they did not detonate, meaning now you are going to clear that area. Now these are what we call active mines. That becomes a hassle. So again, people have lost their limbs. So we learned this the hard way that a drone that is not fail safe is very dangerous. So this sort of jamming created a hazard for basically both sides. Russia is like, okay, we are safe, but we can't move because we did not see where the drone fell. Ukrainian can't move because there's somewhere a drone fell, which has a big boom device that is about to go boom if you touch it. So fundamentally, countermeasure did work and it did create a paradox where it's like from Ukraine's point of view, they do not want to have this because the more drones they fall into their territory, the more mined it will become. That's unsafe for long-term sustainability. And Russia did had a lot of investment in electromagnetic jamming because of these puppies. So it was somebody in Russia did care about it and they did work their ass off. They did got this sort of equipment. Although let me be very clear, this system also has the same issue. These are so loud, so powerful that you can easily spot where they are. So there is big versions like this and there are small backpack versions. The idea is you trigger the backpack version only if you detect a drone sound. Because thankfully these drones are below sound speed, so you should be able to hear the prop noise before drone is too close to you. If that happens, turn it on, survive the first 5 minutes and then turn it off, run in random direction. So a lot of countermeasures have been done. Again, there will never be a sword that has no shield. There will never be a shield that has no sword. It will always be balanced. So basically, Ukraine went on the AI side. Now, how the heck Ukraine did that? Well, here's the two things happened. First, cheap drone market has expanded exponentially and Ukraine is consuming so much that they themselves are building it. As in the motor driver controller, the PCBs, the frame, everything, they are mass producing it. So drone became dirt cheap for them. So far, so good. But problem is, without AI, they have that limitation. So smartphone SoC became the main driving chip, not dedicated chips. Like if you look into DJI and all that, you might find some MediaTek chips or like there are hardware that are dedicatedly built for what we call drone system. But again, they are expensive and they are not as mass produced. So the idea is they're using smartphone SoC. Again, they're not going to tell you exactly which model, but the idea is that's the thing that is doing the AI aiming. And modern mobile SoC, especially anything that is made in recent time, as in like after 2020, has actual neural processing unit. Be it Snapdragon, be it Qualcomm, be it whatever have you. Snapdragon, Qualcomm are the same thing. Kirin processors, and there are 2-3 more brands. Even Samsung, Exynos, all of them have NPU. And after 22, I'm pretty sure, basically after ChatGPT, all of them worked their ass off to add physical hardware to run AI. So onboard AI that they have, it does not do much. It's just a targeting system. Basically, how this Sony camera, it's not doing too much here. It has a limited AI. Again, it has an AI chip. The AI chip is like detecting my eye. I think it's this eye. It's detecting this eye. It's closer to the camera. Yeah, okay. It's closer to this. It's detecting that eye. So it's not even doing that. It's just you pixel focus. Basically, focus on this cluster of pixel, go. That's what they're doing. And human, basically the operator is doing the selection of target. Basically what to boom, where to boom, that is selected by the drone operator. The moment drone operator marks it, like, okay, this is my guy, boom this guy, then AI takes over it. And ideally is the AI will take care of the final 100 meter or in those sort of spot. Now AI is not detecting human. It's much dumber than what a camera has it, because again, those SoCs are expensive and you need millions of those. So they're much dumbed down. What they are is basically almost like how a mouse pointer works. Basically, if you have seen mouse, it's basically a camera there looking at the surface texture. So it just changes the movement, basically where it's moving. So the AI's job is put this bunch of clusters of pixel in the same spot in the field of view, almost like a old school penguin, not penguin, pigeon. Yeah, pigeon targeting system, missile pigeon targeting system. Back in the days, people tried to have a pigeon that is going make anti-ship missile targeting system. Not joking, that was actually done. Not used in war, thankfully, but they tried it. So same thing, AI is doing the same thing. It's not doing deep analysis or like, okay, this is the leg, it does not even know what a human is, just looking at the patch that the operator marked, and it's like, okay, my job is to make love to it as much as possible, as quickly as possible. So jamming does not do anything, because at that point, at the moment you trigger it, connection fails, because again, the operator has to run away now. And hiding does not do anything, because you're gonna move. And you're like, okay, what do I mean? Well, like, stay still. Unless you have predetermined your spot like a sniper, and be mindful, if you got spotted, you have to run, otherwise you're just gonna be boomed anyway. The basically change engine, it can detect something very small, like your breathing. Like if you have a leaf that is moving, it can detect you. And again, if your drone starts to, you will panic, you will shake, and it will like, I got you. It's a childish game of tag that happens. So AI is one of those things. And again, I do not mean full Skynet level AI, just I know what I'm looking for, I'm gonna boom this thing once my operator gives the signal. And you have to look into the horrifying fact that they have learned the hard way that the boom device should not be armed when you are working with it. Nowadays they have the system is like, at least it has to be 100 meters away from the radio source, only then it turns on the boom device. Enough people died for them to learn that yeah, that's why RPG has an arming system that does not arm if you are holding it. It has to be fired, only then it it triggers the primary warhead. So all of these things have been learned. Now question becomes how? Well, here's the deal. Blood costs. That's the thing that they paid, because AI has the same rule as computer. Garbage in equals garbage out. Meaning, if you are just training it on like Unreal Engine, yeah, the output will not that good. Again, better than nothing, but won't be that good. However, Ukraine had the unique advantage that no other nation has, is that they had actual real world footage from manual systems. Basically from 2022 to let's just say 2024. They had those sort of footage, real world battle pass actual thing. They will use that for their final AI training. Now, how much footage we are talking about? This is where it gets horrifying. 228 years of battle footage, and I mean battle footage, not combat simulations, not training, not actual real life, as in all those 500,000 men that have lost their life, many or all are in that time frame. That's horrifying. And again, it is so good, and camouflage does not obstruct it anymore. Why? 200 years of training, imagine what you can see. So that's the scary part, like the actual data that is there. and no one can replicate it. Even if America tries it, the only way America can achieve that, they have to have like multiple spectrum, basically full spectrum analysis, or what we call hyperspectral camera or multispectral camera at least, and then they might be able to do that. You're like, okay, what if I use a foil to cover thermal vision? Yeah, it actually easily detects that there is a giant square and it's like kaboom. Yeah, all those things that you can think of, some soldier tried it, there is a footage of it, that footage is feeding into AI and AI knows how to compensate for it. That's today, not 10 years from now, not in future, not in sci-fi movie, today. Oh, that video, why they are collecting so much video, that's a double-edged sword. They realized that they needed to have a, international community's approval. So they're like, okay, we have to show that we are not doing a war crime. So the idea is they collect all the footage and they market it. It's almost gamified. It's like, oh, you boom a tank, you get this much points, and your battalion gets, based on basically the better you are, the more resources will be allocated on you. So it's intensified. And again, in that incentive, they are very open. If you capture someone alive, that's 120 points or something like it. There is a whole thing of that. Again, why Ukraine is doing it? Again, to reduce corruption. Again, you might say it backfires because, again, the weak team becomes weaker. Tomato, they have to make do with what they have. And it has worked. It has generated the footage. It has generated the training. And be mindful, training is not only for AI, it's also for the person. It's like, hey, look, this is how they run. And that's a useful training data. So no one can replicate it. Basically, even if Russia tries to do that, unless they have that much thorough quality video footage, it will be very difficult for them. So yeah, and that's why if you hear the basically world analysis on Russia-Ukraine scenario, the early days was not that optimistic because the idea was one Ukrainian boom equals 2 Russian booms. So you might be like, okay, that's good. The population is bonkersly out of spec for that. Like they needed 5+ to actually have any impact. And again, if you did not understand why Russia is just sending people, that was the reason. The early data was that for every basically Ukrainian fell, 2 Russian fell. But they had enough Russians. They're like, just throw it. Who cares about birth rate or mathematics or time frame? Just send it. And again, eventually it would have worked. But recent data, as in last month, that data is claiming to reach 8-1. At this point in time, they can delete whole of Russian power, meaning even if the complete mobilization happens, unless something bad happens to them, like fundamentally bad corruption, something of that nature happens, they're good. They're just like, that number might even crawl up. They might even reach 10-12. Be mindful, the casualty number you might not understand, that's their active force. They deleted the whole active force, whole of it, not 1%, 10%, all of it. You had active army, deleted, completely new. Now again, some would have survived, of course. I'm not meaning 1% by 1%, but like whole army. That number is huge, horrifying. So it's again, barring nukes, Russia is not gonna survive. Like it's gonna be worse than what happened after Stalin fell. Because again, Putin is not immortal. He is gonna go kaput. How? That's the interesting part. But at this point in time, AI is actually ending people, meaning we have blood data in the AI. It's literally Skynet's data point, literally. And the scary part is, so far, everybody is saying that there is always a human in loop. For example, in this current conflict of Strait of Hormuz, apparently, America has to analyze whole of Iran. That's a huge thing, and you can't do that. Why can't you do that? Well, even if you have thousands of satellites, which they do, each satellite is giving you footage, and you have to study it, compare it, merge it with the radar data and all the data. Every person has to study 1 square kilometer, they still would be overwhelmed. How many cars are moving? You can't track that. AI can. So they are using AI for sorting all the information, basically where the launchers, where they are moving, all of that. And penalty of that is, that means if AI messes up, it can ask you, hey, boom this place. And you're like, okay, boom this place. Again, you did the boom that place, but how do you know that boom the place was the right call? That may be a school that you're about to boom. So yes, right now there is a human in the loop. Great. But how long? Like when this war started, nobody was talking about AI. And I'm talking about AI right now. That has blood data of 200 years. Like those booms are not just like hee hee ha ha. That's actual person that deleted. Done. Go on. 500,000. That number is not tiny. So this is the scary part. Like AI actually crossed that threshold while I'm alive. I did not want that to happen, but it did. And I'm genuinely worried about it. Like, how long before somebody's like, you know what, just give the whole thing to AI? Like, I don't want Horizon Zero Dawn in my lifetime. So this was my presentation on that horrifying reality that AI has blood on its hand at this point in time. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend if you have liked it. Please click the hype button if you have enjoyed it. I would urge you to press dislike. If you did not like it, press it twice to show me disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.